Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dylan Gott.
I'm Dylan Gott. Ladies and gentlemen,
Whoa!
we're all one mind. This is the Wrestler Review. Today we're talking about high voltage.
Rockin' tag team. Let me say this. Worst theme song of any tag team, any professional wrestler ever. I think this is the worst theme song. Starts with just the alert from an iPhone.
That's not true.
The alert from an iPhone for far
What
too
would
long.
be become the alert for the iPhone? So the iPhone stole High
Oh my
Voltage's
God.
theme song.
He stole it from High Voltage.
Yeah.
Stole High Voltage's theme song. And then there's a long pause, and then a man goes, high voltage. Like, literally sounds like they woke up someone with a mic. Say high voltage. Yeah, for
High voltage.
high voltage, and then like some. If there was a new metal porn, the theme music of high voltage would be used. That. Oh no, Frank Durgson, we got to get this Limp Biscuit to come town. Better make some corn. I mean porn.
I mean, High Voltage, two power plant guys. They look like gym teachers. I would put a lot of money right now that Rage, who is the brown hair, is like 400 pounds of just those guys who like have just a pot belly now, and then Chaos is very thin now.
Well, I did a little digging.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure. I just need to confirm which one is which.
Rage has the brown hair, and Chaos has the blonde hair.
Chaos, no one knows really where he is. There's no additional information.
Chaos could be anybody. Chaos has like a very familiar
Chaos
face.
could be anyone.
I feel joined in Chaos because although we have exact opposite bodies, we could be anybody.
Rage, on the other hand, is after he got addicted to pain pills and ecstasy.
No.
Pain pills and ecstasy.
Oh,
addiction.
ecstasy sounds fine.
That does also pain pills with ecstasy. I'm like that. He had fun. That was fun.
He got addicted to three ways.
Yeah, he got addicted in Florida. He got addicted to sleeping with a married couple, is what old Mr. Rage got addicted to.
Yeah,
and now he's a personal trainer who's also a born-again Christian evangelizer. So he may be working at one of those gym. You know that there's now gym churches in America.
That's fucking cool, though.
You want to pump? You want to pump with the fucking Lord?
This is what I don't like about it, is that they hate trans people, which I dislike, but if I was going to go, like, could you do a sermon and then work out? Like, could you have worked out the whole time I've ever been to church? It's like, you could probably do some legs while I tell you the same 8 things from the Bible.
The only person that's ever made church fun is my mom, and that is because she is openly arguing with the minister if he gets something she disagrees with in the sermon, which is not something is something that she feels you're allowed to do in church, and is something I have never seen done by anyone else in church. Of raising the hand, holding the Bible. Where does it say that? Where did you?
Your mom's really Nancy Gracieing up church. I like that.
My mom brings Nancy Grace. I think that you murdered your kid energy to. I don't think you've read. I don't think you've read Numbers, motherfucker. Yeah.
Yeah, to like suburban Canadian, let's get through this church.
But yeah, like no one is pleased that there's a sermon happening, and more so, no one is pleased that the woman with the small backpack has just stood up with a whoa ref energy.
Well, here's my favorite. I go to Greek church because my wife is half Greek, and the priest made one time we were at church, and he said, I went to church. We go to church like for the big events, and so. We went 2 weeks in a row because you have to when your kid gets baptized. And the second week, the priest said, we're starting extra early next week. So everybody get here early because church is going to end early. And then what he did was so many people were showing up just to eat the bread or whatever to take sacrament. Like they would show up, literally Greek people show up for like church is ending at noon. They show up for the sacrament 11:45.
Love it.
And he just started church at 11:45, and it was the greatest gotcha moment I've ever had in my life.
I'm going to say this right now.
You see all these passerby Greek people be like, you can't get mad at a priest for doing what he should be doing, of making you listen to the entire sermon, but I am going to be upset right now.
I got to tell you, I love a priest that gets it. My family priest, Chris. I was the godfather of one of my many cousins, and we were sat in the like weird green room of the church, and he's like, okay, here's what you say. And then he walked up to me and he was like, John, you're still a godless atheist. And I went, I'm agnostic, Chris. And he went, yeah, God doesn't care. Okay. He went, I'll answer the questions for you, and we'll get out of here faster. And I was like, you, man, I like you a lot. You get it. But you know who else gets it? Whoever looked at the 2 juice heads that were at the power plant, who I have never felt worse for two men in my life. These people both clearly had the dream of being a pro wrestler. Then they had to hang out with Buddy Lee Parker, the only member of the NWA roster that Jim Cornette hates. Imagine you do the thing that Jim Cornette loves. You worked for Jim Crockett Promotions, but you were the one guy that he was just like, I'm so about this cunt. And so he hates Buddy Lee Parker, who was the guy who trained everyone at the power plant. These two guys debuted at the end of 1996 and are like the weirdest version of jobbers ever, in that, like, I think that they were supposed to be fired in 1997 and everyone forgot that they worked there. So they were just used to, like, hey, these jobbers have a theme song, so maybe they're not gonna win though. Like, just so you know, not winning.
This is something that WCW just straight up took, or sorry, WWE took from WCW, which is exactly jobbers with a gimmick and a theme song.
Without High Voltage, Miz is not looking at his 20th year in the WWE. Know this.
Yeah.
The Miz, by a order of magnitude of 10, has had a longer career than Dino Bravo or Tito Santana. The Miz has been in Vince McMahon's house of touchy no for like double the length of Hulk Hogan. That's the power of Mike Mizrahi. Is that his name? I don't actually know.
Yeah, I have no idea. But check this out. You're right. It's like High Voltage, if WCW would have won the war, would have been like, we're celebrating High Voltage's 30th year of professional wrestling, everybody. They are in the power plant, which is so funny that, like, in those, all WWE talks about when they talk about WCW is like, they fucking mismanaged everything. They did fuck it. But they really did create like a lot of the inner workings that would become the WWE. Like the power plant is just the performance center.
Yeah, but the thing with it is that WCW did it the worst way possible. We done the power plant. We made Glacier. He doesn't know how to wrestle. He's bad. Okay, you're a graduate. All right, now up next, Ernest the Cat Miller. He's wearing red shoes. You're Dorothy from the Oz. I don't fucking care. Okay, up next, Daryl Torbor. You're the Kiss Demon. You're the fucking Kiss. Fuck you, Kiss Demon.
But it does make sense because it's like, rather than trying to break these guys, like WWE would be like, hey, you have a dream? You're an indie guy? You're fucking, oh man, Chris Hero? That's a cool gimmick. Work our style.
Yeah.
And get your gunt out of my fucking coffee, Christopher.
Well, Chris Hero's problem, and this is the very funny thing of the rewrite of like Triple H is the great hero. I'm like, Triple H is just as bad as Vince McMahon. If you were a blonde man with hair longer than bangs, you're a threat to me, so you must be destroyed.
Can I put my little devil horns up?
Oh, Dylan, go ahead.
I want to be Triple H. From listening to interviews with real athletes, is the same exact ideas as real athletes, where like LeBron James was talking about like, oh, do you ever like a good relationship with Michael Jordan? And then he said, no, I don't, because I'm still competing with him in my mind. So like, I won't tell Michael Jordan anything I'll do on the court, because Michael Jordan also will then get competitive and just start telling other people my like pacing and style and like little tiny things I do that I don't tell anybody.
LeBron's
so I won't tell Michael Jordan anything until why?
Why say that? Like, what? That's the most.
Because you're not championship mentality, John.
No, I am championship mentality.
John, you're in a bunker underneath where the Shah of Iran is.
Are you friends with Michael Jordan? I am not friends with Michael Jordan because I'm.
What would be like to be friends? What would be good to be like friends with Michael Jordan?
Why would I don't want to be?
Oh,
friends
hey,
with
Michael, you're a really big influence on my life. You know, I could beat you up right now. I choose not to. That's who Michael Jordan is.
Yeah, like why not just be like, I don't want to talk to Michael Jordan because he has a Hitler mustache and he's the weirdest man in the world. Like my problem with LeBron James is, just be honest. Why didn't you go to Kobe's funeral? I didn't know the man, and anytime I talked to him, he was like, you know what's cool to do to women? And I'm like, man, I don't want to hear this. You know, like the thing.
I fucking did rape that chick, right? Stop telling me that, Kobe.
You know that, like, she wanted it, and I make everyone tell me that. So you better tell me that, right, LeBron? Like,
also, if it's your funeral, you don't just invite people from work. I don't know.
As someone who has been to a funeral where people showed up to network, like, I would rather people, when someone's like, I don't know if I should go, that's fine. Like, I'd much rather that than...
It's a fucking funeral. It's also one of the saddest funerals you could... Because it's not just Kobe.
Yeah, his daughter died in a fireball. And a fucking nerd in a checked jacket. Where's LeBron? I'm on ESPN. Where's
Well,
LeBron?
it's also like, yeah, in the black box, the last things he's hugging his daughter, saying it's gonna be okay as they hurtle to their death. You're not really worried about what the press. What's the press implications of me not going to this dead daughter?
That's
thing.
not true, actually. Stephen A. Smith found another recording of the black box where Kobe was alive for a few moments, and he said, make sure you make a list of wrongs LeBron did specifically to Stephen A. Smith. That's the thing you didn't realize. You don't know that?
Yeah, he was as he was hugging his dying daughter, he's like, oh no, now I won't get to find out which Pokemon Stephen A. Smith thinks would win in a fight against the Charizard.
I'm going to say this about Stephen A. Smith, and it's going to relate back to High Voltage. Stephen A. Smith has taught me that if you dress real nice, like if you dress super nice, people will not look into the logic of your arguments. Like Stephen A. Smith is wearing like the nicest camel hair coat possible on ESPN. And then he's like, I think this is nuts, but I'm going to say it. I should be legally allowed to sniff LeBron James's food. I want to sniff it. I want to see what it tastes like. What does his red wine smell like? If he doesn't let me do it, he's not a man and I should be president. And everyone's like, fuck, that's a good coat. He's probably right. And that's High Voltage's problem is High Voltage. There is no mention of volts or electricity on their ring gear whatsoever.
Yeah, there is.
No, there is not. Their initial thing is just pink. They're initially just in.
Yeah, but then one of the later matches, it's all green electricity.
I mean, is it green
And also their handshake is the fact that they try and have a handshake, but then the fucking voltage is too much and they shock each other and they walk to the ring.
That is fucking cool.
Ow!
Although one of them, they kind of fuck it up, so it literally just looks like they were like, your hands are too hot. Like,
yeah. No, yeah, you're not expecting. These guys are 2 years into wrestling. They're both pretty good at wrestling. Rage can do a fucking springboard. That's good. Yeah. He's Rage. He's raging. And you know what? I'll say this about this dude. He does what I think should be the new standard in belly-to-belly suplexes, where he kind of lifts the guy up so it looks like he's about to, it's like the anvil when he lifts someone up for a heart attack. And then he does the belly-to-belly over the top, so that not only does the guy get higher, you don't make the guy have to tuck his neck for his fucking life.
They're really good, competent power wrestlers. And what's weird is if they had debuted in the Attitude Era, their gimmick would have been like, they're the cum drinkers.
Balls and sack. Yeah. Balls and shaft. They fuck.
Girth and width.
No, I like High Voltage, but it is kind of like you would, if you're going to like do this gimmick really played out. And I do understand the issue they have is that like these guys have big hot bodies in a time where everyone has big hot bodies, so you kind of can't stand out. And they're also like a bit short.
Yeah. Well,
so they're like when they go up against Buff Bagwell and they're supposed to be two crazy big power wrestlers, and then Buff Bagwell's clearly taller than him and his gimmick is please suck my nipples. It just kind of says all it needs to say. It's like, if you're going to do these gimmicks, you have to be like basically the size of Chronic.
So basically,
or the APA or something.
The thing that they could have done really simply with High Voltage is if you rebrand them as something similar to Taz. So you call them like the Catch Club, the Grabby Boys. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
the Grabby
Boys.
They're in the crowd grabbing women's tits.
Get yourself a handful of flesh. It's the Grabby Boys. They're here.
That's good.
Or you do it like they're the new varsity club. So then it's like, because all you just needed to do, because here's the thing that's crazy about WCW is you have exceptional commentators in Mike Tenay who can really sell anything. You just have to give them something to sell, which they never do. They're like, High Voltage, they're made of electricity, they're 5'5". But if you were like, they are Florida catch wrestlers, they are fucking crazy powerful, and you just have them do belly-to-belly suplexes and all that sort of shit, but they like stick to the rules, then that sets them up so much better for our first match, which is when they're versus Vicious and Delicious, the brief time when they tried to make a second tag team in the NWO of Scott Norton and
I
Buff
thought this
Bagwell.
was fucking awesome. Their finishing move, I forgot how fucking cool the blockbuster looks like that, man.
It's so fucking good. Also, the Buff Blockbuster is one of my favorite finishing moves in that you can do it on anyone, no one's getting hurt, looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's just a back bump for Buff Bagwell that for some reason means that the other guy's hurt. Those are my favorite finishing moves.
Oh, yeah.
Well, remember the Shelton Benjamin's finishing move? It was just like, I'm going to take a back bump, and then you kind of come down with me, and now you're dead. The Playmaker.
Yeah, I mean, fucking speaking of The Miz, I've always thought that the skull-crushing conclusion is one of the, like, all right, here's what happened.
It's finale. I feel like you got that wrong on purpose, and I appreciate that.
What was it? What does he call it?
It's the skull-crushing finale, not the conclusion.
It's the skull-crushing conclusion.
The head-hurting conclusion?
Yeah, it's the whoopsie-doopsie my noggin.
Yeah. The bonk
Finn.
bonk end time. Yes.
Yeah,
But continue.
bonk, credit screen, the end. The end. But yeah, I gotta tell you, also, nothing is greater than Nitro riding high Nitro, because every match is just them discussing where the NWO could be. The WCW commentators are like a 25-year-old broken up with comedian from Toronto, where they're now just going to talk about where their ex might be, the ex being the NWO.
I bet she's a fucking sneaky D's. Yeah, they keep on saying the NWO.
I bet you she's in spirits. She's in spirits with Kenny Robinson. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah. He's at a defunct bar with an 85-year-old man. She's just hanging out inside a condo lobby.
I'm literally referencing one time where I watched a comedian walk up to the only guy who was ahead of television at the time in Canada and just went, "Millen, my girlfriend left me." And Millen just went, "You had a girlfriend?"
I mean, there is nothing worse than just taking a 25-year-old man in a breakup, because this is like, depending on his upbringing, he thinks he was going to get married.
Yeah, he also really oversold it to some friends.
Yeah, man, she's kind of a bitch, so if she leaves me, then that's fine, but also I could marry her. Anyway, this is, all right, but Scott Norton, I forgot how much I love Scott Norton. In WCW, NWO Revenge, I would change Scott Norton's name to be Dylan Gott. Why wouldn't I? Because he's the perfect type of like powerhouse guy where it's not so much in the arms, just all fucking chest. So it like looks different than everybody as well. And they do kind of completely cuckold High Voltage, because they're supposed to be big power guys. High Voltage controls a lot of the match, and then Scott Norton double suplexes them, lift one up, and then they die.
What's so good about the double suplex is Christopher Chaos goes along for the ride, and Robert Rage, living up to his name, just goes, "No," and just falls in place like he got a suplex, but does not go for the ride in the same way.
He just kind of falls over, yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, Bobby the Brain Heenan is about to make fun of them, and then he gets interrupted. You literally hear him being like, "What?" And then, "What up and over?" Like, they're like, "No, Bobby. Oh, the fucking idiots fell. Fuck this." Okay.
Yeah. These guys, and then at one point, Bobby Heenan in the match goes, "These guys aren't midgets." And then there's silence. They're like, "Fucking goddamn it, Bobby."
Yeah, like, oh my god, like it's one of those.
You can tell he's like the clinking of a martini. These guys aren't fucking midgets.
Yeah, you literally hear the click of a cigarette lighter. That beautiful inhale. Who are these short fruits, Bobby?
The fucking short fruit guys or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I thought this was a wrestling show. I didn't realize it was an advertisement for Rocco's Boom Boom Lounge for sailors or whatever. All right.
This is like, Gorilla. But I do like this about 98.
Wrong company and he's dead, Bobby. Well, kill yourself. I don't fucking care. All right, let's get to it. All right, welcome to Monday Raw. It's Nitro. I don't care. Bobby the brain has got dementia. Heenan.
Is there any way to do what High Voltage's gimmick should have been, which is gym teachers who just started working at a high school who want to know if your aunt is single?
Oh my God. By the way, in our tradition of going, what would this tag team be like now? If you brought this tag team into AEW and it's just like, hey, we're gym teachers and we fuck, unbeatable tag team. Like literally put them in the ring now against like FTR. We were wrong and we're here to make sure it's old school. I'll tell you what's old school, fingering behind the gym. We challenge you to fight behind the gym. Like I would never like.
They would probably have the same gimmick in AEW now. It's so everything is exactly WCW Saturday night in wrestling now, where it's just like you change the names to two weird things that, you know, don't really stand out. They're both names are weird. You know what I mean? Like Servants Exembior. What's that? Exactly. What's his gimmick? He thinks that if you mop a floor, you shouldn't use a Swiffer because a Swiffer is just it doesn't really do the real good job that a mop does. So he's a janitor? No, he's just really into mopping.
Yeah, he has another gig. Wait, what's his other? Why does he have two jobs for this wrestling gimmick? Well, liking mops doesn't pay the bills. I fucking hate you, Tony Khan.
Yeah, okay. It's fucking subtle.
Yeah, it's called art.
It's called art, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's called art. Hang on one second. Yeah, can I have a man named Kenny to the ring for more art, please? I'm going to
be Omega's bringing out an art installation he's been working on.
We have another art featuring a man whose name is Most Valuable Player. Is that possible? I'm going to need Most Valuable Player Man and his two friends, a thin black man who wears a suit from the 2000s and thick black man who wears a suit from the 2010s. Can you please all report to the ring for art?
I mean, yeah, I do feel like the Hurt Business walking into the ring. Like, I can't believe we work here. I have a hard time taking any of this seriously. Anyway, now my promo begins.
Oh my God.
Chaos looks like Kurt Cobain's brother who bullied him.
Yes, he does. And
it's really good. I think Chaos's gimmick should have been Kurt Cobain didn't die, he rules now.
I think that their gimmick just should have been it just needed to be a bit more 90s electricity crazy, which is they should have come
exactly shoot people.
They needed to come to the ring in lab coats, and right before they go in, they hold up a plugged in extension cord and they each touch it and go
100%. No, here's what their gimmick should have been. Is okay, so you hire Harvey Whippleman and we'll say Bobby the Brain Heenan because he's already there and I can't think of anybody else. They come out in really large lab coats. Then they have a box that they've stolen that just says electricity. They open the box, they stick their hands in, the lights go out, then the lab coats are really small. Now they're high voltage. They run to the ring, they win, and then they put their hands back in the box. After the match, the lights go back out. They're Bobby the Brain Heenan and Harvey Whippleman again. You're going to get some great promos, and also that's really good. And then most of the matches are we're going to steal the box, and then they get the shit kicked out of them from a lot of the match, and then eventually they get access to the box. They stick their hands in high voltage, basically Weird Science, sort of. That's my idea.
I cannot believe Vince Russo didn't figure out this gimmick, but the only difference is it would be two hot babes and they'd get turned into two fat men. That's what they would do.
Yeah, the two hot babes, you're eating them out, they turn into fat guys. That's the end of the wrestling gimmick.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the wrestling.
Is anything I said wrong? If Vince Russo had watched Weird Science in 1999, Mike Awesome would have been shouldered with that gimmick. No problem.
I'd say the problem that Rage and Chaos have mostly is that it took me 2 minutes and constant reminders to figure out which one was Rage and which one was Chaos. In this instance, you do need complementary tag gear. Like, I think Vicious and Delicious have it perfect, where they have they both have bricks on their tag gear. Correct. But obviously you can tell which one's which because whatever. But they do have different. Like, Norton has the straps with the singlet and Bagwell just has the pants. So if you had Rage just has the pants and then Chaos just has the singlet or whatever, or one of them has yellow lightning bolts, the other one has red lightning bolts.
There you go.
Obviously not that color scheme because of Hogan, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing is that it's also, you just see how little WCW gave a fuck about these guys. It's literally all right, you're high voltage, you're high. Watch out which light bulbs you hold or you could cause the circuit to break. I don't fucking know. Yeah. Okay. Also,
right, lube, take a dildo in the ass. We can't do that. All right, your electricity. I don't know, man.
Look, you are a jobber here in WCW. You are being paid 6 figures with healthcare to be very close to Perry Saturn, and you're not being paid enough. I'm going to tell you that right now.
That must have been the fucking greatest job in the world. Not only do you get 6 figures with healthcare,
but
you don't even have to fucking travel because you're at the fucking Saturday night.
Yeah, you're just in Atlanta.
They must have got
also,
that
here's
WCW Nitro thing.
I'm a nerd, Dylan. When I went to Atlanta in 2021 in COVID, I looked up where were all the WCW shooting locations. People complain about then we have to go to Atlanta, and it's Atlanta is the best city ever. It's the only city in America where they're like, hey, the downtown, we're putting stuff there. So you're better than the Coca-Cola Museum that is a 10-minute walk from where you shot this, you fucking punks.
Especially in the 90s, they're at the Coca-Cola Museum until they absolutely have to wrestle.
Oh my God. I would be there right before I have to wrestle, and then immediately after I wrestle. And
listen, man, this match better be 6 minutes long because I'm going back to the Coca-Cola Museum. You're a weird guy. I am a weird guy.
But I have had 4 Mexican Coca-Colas. Not 1, not 2, not 3. We're looking at a 4-banger, motherfucker.
Yeah, this is big for me. Viagra just got invented. I've had erectile dysfunction from having so many Coca-Colas for my entire life, so I get to feel what sex is like. Next match. I forgot to say the date. March 14th, 1998 on WCW Saturday Night. They're against Disorderly Conduct. Dude, Disorderly Conduct is the best cops I've ever seen because they do look like shitty cops. They should have come to the ring. if they would have had the subtlety of like they both hail from a dry state, and then they just start plucking beers out of people's hands and say, this is a dry state while I'm in here, that would have been fucking wicked.
I will say this about disorderly conduct. So I live in Los Angeles. Not bragging, but it is a brag.
No.
Yes, Dylan, surprise.
You never mentioned that.
I've never mentioned it once, never mentioned it again. You think I'm just in your garage.
Sounds like LA to me with all that traffic.
Whoa, with all those libs. Anyway, there's a county next to LA County called Ventura County where all of the LAPD lives. Like, it's like a known thing. They changed the law a long time ago, and they're like, you don't have to live in LA County to be in the LA Cops. So they're like, okay, sweet. We're moving near the scum beach to be scumbags. And you go to Ventura County, every man looks like disorderly conduct. And we're talking down to the mullet. We're talking down to the wraparound sunglasses. I once saw a guy wearing one of those jackets. It is disorderly conduct also weirdly sticks in my head as a WCW tag team in the same way that the Beverly Brothers did nothing and live rent-free in my head as a WWF tag team. Like, they're just in there. They're just in the mix.
Disorderly conduct's wicked because there's a lot of things they have going for them. First of all, if you were a cop in wrestling before this, you dressed like a cop. And disorderly conduct didn't. They dressed like full wrestlers. They had kick pads, even though the only thing they kicked was fucking hippies' asses, I'll tell you that.
I mean, are they supposed to? I couldn't read them as they're supposed to be cops. I thought they were literal gimmick as they are guys that are gonna maybe break the rules, baby.
I thought disorderly conduct was like, we're cops. I thought this was like, I was primed to be like, disorderly conduct now are for sure in ice, but not getting paid. They're just doing it.
We're all very lucky that WCW died and was not taken over by Vince Russo and lasted until now, because if it did, literally when George Floyd died, disorderly conduct is coming out, and then Derek Chauvin's our manager. You know what I
mean? No, disorderly conduct wouldn't even got a promo. He's just mean. This just says Mean Mike. Disorderly conduct tag team. They were signed to WCW after a couple appearances as the Hangmen. And they're Tough Tom and Mean Mike.
Oh, no. I like that they're like, what's your gimmick? We're the Hangmen. What does that mean? Well, we're in a long list of, in the South, sometimes if someone, not pointing any fingers, a black guy, won't get out of your town, you call us.
All right, we're going to take a break and then talk more about disorderly conduct because my selfish son has woken up.
I'm really happy that he's woken up because we are talking about his favorite tag team, Disorderly Conduct.
And during that, I'll read about what disorderly conduct's gimmick technically was. One moment.
It was stepdads in robes. Go ahead. Voltage, rock and roll. Where's your son?
Huh?
Where's your son?
Oh, fuck. I beat the shit out of him. We're back. I didn't find out what disorderly conduct's gimmick it technically is, but I did find out that in Japan they wrestled as Tornado Juice and Gray Skull, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah. I love Japanese wrestling because it's
Tornado
like,
Juice.
He-Man penis. I don't fucking know.
And they probably weren't jobbers. They probably like 45 minutes with Kenta Kobashi in the Tokyo Dome.
Oh, yeah. This is the thing. I mean, you look into Scott Norton's career, and it's a real tale of two cities. In the United States, he's like, well, you've just done a 3-minute match with Ice Train that culminates in you both eating cottage cheese.
Fire and ice.
In Japan, he is he's the New Japan World Champion. He just had a 4-hour match with the idea of Giant Baba's penis.
Yeah, I mean, Fire and Ice, also a formerly very good restaurant in Richmond Hill in Canada I went to a lot as a kid. And then I'd also, while eating there, be like, Ice Train, if Scott Norton might own this place. Maybe if Ice Train comes out from the back for a bit.
No one talks about the one weird good restaurant in the mall parking lot that was just owned by a guy. In Canada forever, it was a place called Monkey Joe's, which I'm
pretty sure no one talks about Monkey Joe's.
Monkey Joe's is talked about all the time. I remember my grandmother refused to go in there because Monkey Joe's, there was no smoking section. It was all a smoking section, and my grandmother was aghast at this.
Oh, I thought your grandma would be like, we can't smoke at Monkey Joe's?
No, it was all smoking?
I remember doing a highway road stop, going to somebody's cottage and going to the only restaurant, for whatever one of those. When you find a restaurant, this is before, Google Maps, so you couldn't map anything. We found a restaurant, whatever. It was a coffee shop, got a sandwich, and you could smoke in there. And then me and my buddy Adrian were like, wait, you can smoke in here? And he was like, yeah, there's no section you can smoke. And we're like, all right, guys, we're going to be late for this cottage. Me and this guy, we got to have at least 6 cigarettes in here.
Yeah.
We're like just standing smoking, being like, yes, 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 yes. I don't know what I would do if there was a cafe you could smoke in. I'd be like, Alexis, get the kids in the car and give me a pack of Dumos, baby. Yes, 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 yes.
There was no greater moment than if you're staying late night in a bar in Montreal. It was a known thing that if you were a regular or you You paid heavy, bought a couple of drinks. You can stick around after last call, have a couple of cigarettes in the bar, and nothing was better.
Oh, yeah. And then fucking some goddamn French guy would come out and fucking suck you off or whatever French
he
guys do.
wouldn't suck you off, but he would. May I touch?
Disorderly conduct.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing your dick.
Yeah, me, I.
That was disorderly conduct. I'm a mean Mike. I'm gonna grab your cock. I'm Tough Tom. I'm gonna suck your cock.
I'm not into it, but I am into watching control be exerted. Some people say I'm worse than him. Oh no, I'm gonna say this. I think disorderly conduct may actually supposed to be cops because there are badges on the back of their robes.
There you go. I think disorderly conduct's gimmick was what the fuck? Oh God.
They're basically the cops from the Rodney King beating, but for kids.
No, I really had a good joke there, but I forgot what the name of the company that guy started after 9/11 was called.
I don't even know what you're talking
about. The private security firms that were just in
Blackwater.
Afghanistan. Yeah, their gimmick is Blackwater. There you go. That would have been a fucking awesome joke if I had thought of it off the cuff and not had to old man it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Dylan, maybe you want to
check this out. Watch this. I'll tell you what their gimmick is. They're Blackwater.
Oh no, wrong one. No.
We need one that's just a guy nutting.
I got one. I got one that's just nutting.
What is nutting?
That's me nutting.
Anyway,
the sound of the cum.
Yeah, I really wanted them to do a Bastion Booger style gimmick where they fucking were from a dry county. They tag super fucking loud. Just some old school shit where you can tell they worked on like the late territories and early indies where they just look like shitheads. They have no choice but to be heels because they just look like fucking assholes. They look like they look like they'd show up to your party where you were drinking underage and be like, "Are you the cops?" "No, I'm just a concerned neighbor, actually."
Yeah. No, this is they would all that's the most Canadian thing, which is dad who can't call the police for the noise violation until 11, but at 10:45 he's letting you know you should turn it down.
Yeah, he's standing there watching you drink until he can. Oh yeah, and then he won't let you fuck him. Yeah, that's the other thing about him.
May I just say, the guy who was this on my street growing up, he has turned into the best anti-vaxxer I've ever seen. We are talking full copy and paste from Wikipedia on UN articles as his status. Good. Referencing other statuses from his status. I covered this in another status. He fucking ruled.
Why do people not go on Facebook? Like Facebook is like an old person thing, I know, and then I didn't do it for like a lot of time. It was like, I'm still young, I'm in my early 30s, and then like the second half of my 30s, I'm like, let's do it. Let's see a guy. I literally saw this. It was such a weird throwback. Someone copy and pasted something weird about copyright, and then below it wrote, "This means Facebook can't use my identity." Yes. And I was like, that doesn't mean any. Remember when everyone figured out that Instagram owns your shit and people can just use your shit off Instagram and it's theirs now? And then everyone was like, I'm never using Instagram again. And then that worked. Instagram's done now. Yeah, that's not the entirety of the comedy industry.
Do you remember? I remember there was one guy who in the comments of his posts for a long time, he would put Instagram doesn't own that as his way of like, they don't own my stuff. And I finally went, hey, you know when you signed up for Instagram, you clicked on a terms of service and they were like, yeah. And I was like, they own it. That's how they do it. Hey, you know how you don't have a law degree? They have some people that have law degrees. That's how they've won this, you fucks. Like, nothing better than a suburban white man thinking that they've got one over on a corporation. Nike don't work for me anymore because I started stealing shoes.
Here's something I've never seen before that Disorderly Conduct did. Double axe handle and a neck breaker combo. I love double team tag moves that aren't your finish, that are just like, now it would be like, oh, what's our double team move? I do a Russian leg sweep, and this guy goes 9 flips and then does a double knee. And back then it was like, I punch him, he punches him, double punch, he's dead.
What's also amazing about this match is that you're watching two teams that have never been able to get offense before on television, each taking turns getting offense. Like, it's literally like, look, we're never, ever, ever going to be able to do this again.
I mean, Disorderly Conduct, this is the thing about WCW Saturday Night. It was its own universe. Like, you almost could have been like, this was the thing that was, for me, weird to take seriously about the NWO, was that the NWO was basically trying to sell you that we're going to create this new federation and this new universe for wrestling. But then it's like, that already kind of existed with WCW Saturday Night. Like, if they would have just called it the NWA on Saturday, I would have totally bought that, because it was like, these guys you never see. Hardwork Bobby Walker never met or shook hands with Kevin Sullivan. I assume he was just booked by some guy.
Put some fucking respect on your fucking in your fucking mouth when you're talking about a man who works so hard they made that his nickname.
Dude, I loved Hardwork Bobby Walker.
He's hard work. He's working hard.
He's working hard, man.
No one, by the way. Okay, this match is great.
He was distracted all the time. That was his promos. He was like, oh, fucking. Sorry, I can't even focus on this match. I got like fucking bunch of sorting to do.
The thing with Hardwork Bobby Walker is he should have come to the ring with some sort of headset. Like, I actually have to get in the ring now.
That is a gimmick that would work now, where he Ubers to the ring and another guy gets out of his car. He's like, sorry, I got to do this match. And then he goes and he's like, he delivers food to a guy in the front row, goes in, wins the match, and then takes something out of the pocket of the dude he just beat, puts it on Facebook Marketplace, sells it to a guy in the front row, and then picks up some food from under the ring, gets in the car, and drives it to a dude in the back.
I love that so much. There's also this, for some reason, this reminded me of the time being in the Highlight Camden Green Room, a comedy club in London, and the other comedian, a very bad comedian, a hack comedian.
A hack?
Answered the phone, so angry. What? I'm at work. Mom, this is a 50-year-old man. Mom, I'm at work. You have to respect my job. Okay, goodbye. Literally then gets called, and then he's hosting the show, walks immediately on stage right after that, points at the front row, and this is what his job was. I didn't realize they let cunts drink in Camden.
That's good.
Boom. Mom, don't disturb me at work.
Killed.
Cunt. Did not kill. Made everyone very uncomfortable.
I didn't realize my mummy wouldn't let me suck her titties anymore. Next match, Hardwork Bobby Walker, the aforementioned, and Bobby Eaton, a tag team that was formed for 1 second.
Bobby Eaton looks actively unsure what he's
March
doing.
7th, 1998. People need to know that.
1998. Bobby Eaton. This is the weird period of time where Bobby Eaton is he is cashing a paycheck. Bobby Eaton is so underutilized in WCW. I guarantee Bobby Eaton is like, this is fucking great. I drive to Atlanta once a month. I get paid 6 figures, and then I assume hang out in a weird basement in Kentucky.
We understand what it means to have stability as an entertainer, and Bobby Eaton was enjoying it. Congratulations, Mr. Eaton.
There's no way that Bobby Eaton had all the opportunities to go work for a variety of indie promotions in Knoxville, Tennessee, and instead he did this. It's like, well, what happened to his later career? Well, he didn't save any of his money. Like, I assume he bought a bunch. Like, he strikes me as a guy who had a 90s widescreen TV, the big boy.
Oh, it just weighs 400,000 pounds.
400,000 pounds wide. It's wide and thick like a tooth.
This is the thing about WCW and ECW in the 90s really do, if you're going to get into entertainment, really do exemplify what it's like, because, art and commerce rarely meet. Like, Bobby Eaton probably could have had a fucking doozy matches against Rob Van Dam. They would have been like, this is Bobby Eaton. He is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He is going to teach Rob Van Dam a lesson in professional wrestling. And they could have had, like, an answer to the Jerry Lynn, Rob Van Dam matches with that level of, like, excellence. But then he was like, you might pay me $2,000? Okay, I'm going to definitely get $200,000 to just show up. Job to who? Old Voltage? Whatever, man. I'll be on my back. You cover me. I got a bunch of classes I'm taking during the day too. So I'm really gonna be thinking about what it's woodworking.
Paul, it's Bobby. I want to let you know I can't come work for you at ACW. My wife is the daughter of Bill Dundee. If I don't give her money, do you know how fucking crazy my life gets? Have you ever been threatened by a 4'11" man with dyed black hair? Because that's what I get into. Anytime I do not provide her 4 figures in the bank account, Bill Dundee comes over, takes out his dick, and goes, she's going back in here if you don't pay the
rent. Yeah. He called me the N-word at the bank. He showed up to the bank just to do that, so please.
And also, he'd gone to 3 other businesses, yelled it, found out I wasn't in there, and then demanded to know where I was.
I'm looking for the N-word. That's what he said. Yeah, anyway.
I'm looking for Bobby the beep.
I do feel like High Voltage is stuck, because High Voltage, they're in this weird thing where
they worked there. I guarantee, here's what happened. High Voltage debuted in 1996. NWO took off. Eric Bischoff went mad
to Japan.
Power. They were in and out of Japan. They were in and out of AAA because it's also the thing of all the luchadors and amazing wrestlers WCW got. It was a talent trade with those companies. And then WCW was like, you get Paul Orndorff, you get Mike Rotunda, and you get High Voltage, and you can fuck yourself.
Yeah, but it's like in Japan, it's like they're doing tours, right? So it makes sense. Like, yeah, these guys are juice heads. Sure, we'll build them up, and then whoever will beat them. Yeah. The guys we have on top are such good wrestlers that they'll look great. They'll learn a lot. Everybody wins. Also, it's totally fine. We destroy these guys. Absolutely, let's go.
We've sent Jushin Thunder Liger and the Great Muda to America, and in response, they have sent us what they think is the equivalent of that, 2 men on steroids who don't know their own names. I'm Rage. I thought you were Chaos. Whatever. That's why I'm angry.
Yeah. But anyway.
I was just happy to see High Voltage get a win.
No, I mean, this is the problem they're in, is that Goldberg is at the same time. These guys do kind of look too much like Goldberg, where if they just truck people, then they're just going to be perceived as 2 Goldbergs.
That's so funny. Yeah, so what they basically need to do is like they need to have them beat Goldberg, or Goldberg has to beat them and then they become weak. I don't actually know how you fixed it.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, is when you have a gimmick that's as general as this guy squashes people, now no one can squash people. And also, like, if you're going to say High Voltage, like, what is more electric in High Voltage than a dude coming down to the ring slowly, and then he runs a guy over dead because he can't really wrestle, so he just has to actually hit a guy. Then he actually hits a guy again, and then he slams the fuck out of him. And then Robbie Rage and fucking Chris Chaos or whatever are doing professional wrestling. Like, they are protecting people. Like I said, the belly-to-belly that Rage does is, like, great. And then Goldberg does a belly-to-belly. He's like, I got him. And then I fucking slammed him. And here's the belly-to-belly part. He's stabbed. I stabbed him in the side of the head. And everyone's like, that looks sick. Fuck you.
My belly-to-belly involves me going and getting a small caliber pistol and shooting him in the knee.
But remember Goldberg when he did the pump handle suplex, and he would just get the pump handle, lift the guy up, and fucking throw him?
Yeah.
Or like when Goldberg did the Crossroads, but his version of the Crossroads was he would do the thing, but then rather take him down with him like Cody does, he would just fucking throw the guy on his face.
100%. I mean, remember how the spear was invented?
Yeah, I went to football, I tackle him.
Well, specifically, I can't do the jackknife on... we're not sure if I can do the jackknife on Paul White. What can I do to get him on the ground? And he was like, I could tackle him. And they were like, go ahead. And then he just did. Like, how do you do the spear? Well, when Edge does it, he's catching you and protecting you on the ground. When Bill Goldberg does it, he's full football tackling you in a way that he's saying, this gives people wearing helmets, CTE, so I hope you fucking die, Ric Flair.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. But that's what it says. Like, Vader, guys like this, where it's like, you don't know how to make it look good? I'm just going to fucking kick the shit out of you. Our friend Bobby Mayer for a reality show wrestle the guy in Mexico, and the guy was like, okay, you don't know how to sell. It's just going to look bad, so I'm just going to punch you in the fucking face. So he just got punched in the face by a wrestler, which makes sense. Anyway, and they really try and sell the Bagwell Norton match as a breakout during both these matches. Of course, they beat Disorderly Conduct. During this match, they just fully kind of I forget which match it was. I didn't write it down. I'm sorry.
They beat Bobby Eaton and Hardwork Bob Walker, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, they beat them, but they beat them with I think it was actually Disorderly Conduct. They stole they just took the Doomsday device, but the high cross body where Robbie Rage does a springboard is a pretty cool move, I guess.
100%. It's also that thing of High Voltage would have also worked if they just gave them 5 power moves, just do them and then lose the match. Like, it's that thing of...
This is the thing. You kind of have to fucking... Sorry, go for it.
It's the secret sauce of the Steiner brothers. The Steiner brothers lost most of their matches, but what you just do is, how do you get your heat back? You show Scott Steiner doing the Frankensteiner to someone, and then you're like, oh yeah, that's fucking cool. Like, that's the thing with big power guys, is they can lose. Just have them fucking... Oh, his move is...
It's Bradshaw. All of Bradshaw's career is losing, and then he's just like, yeah, but then I smacked a guy on the back. But that's the other thing about these guys is they are like 90s wrestlers who protect their opponents, because guaranteed, like, if you're on WCW Saturday Night, not only are they your opponents, like, you hang out with these guys all day. Yeah. So you're not going to fucking throw them on their fucking head. But that becomes the precedent. As soon as Taz comes in ECW in 95 and starts doing the human suplex machine, the new precedent for a power wrestler is you fucking dump people on their heads. And these guys don't. They protect people. They're squashing people like, well, and like I said, like the the springboard crossbody that is their finisher is Chaos falling back, Rage doing it. So you can see it's like they slowly do it, and you're like, oh, that's a wrestling move because they slowly like do the move. It looks like a wrestling move. It looks like they protect him, and they do protect him. But like you're supposed to get, especially if you're a power wrestler, you're supposed to get so good at wrestling that it looks like you fucking killed him, but you don't. But then the precedent also for like powerhouse tag teams for the Road Warriors was they do cocaine. They don't really care about these people. Here's the doomsday device. I'm going to fucking throw his legs out from under him so he dies. Oh, he's dead? I don't give a dick. People think this fake fight looks good. Yes.
Yeah.
I think Robbie Rage and Chrissy Chaos. I think Roderick Rage and Caleb Chaos really struggle from the fact that, I'm going to say this, John, this is the woke mob's not going to like this. I think these guys were probably okay people. And
yeah, I was about
they
to
were,
say, I think they're just nice guys who they had a dream. Yeah. Their dream didn't work out because worse people also had that dream.
These guys had a great career because it seems like both these guys got out of wrestling. They got in the power plant. They got to the point where they would have had to struggle. They said no, and they left. But I guess Rage is addicted to pills. So.
No, was addicted.
Oh, now he found Christ.
Found Christ. That
probably also loathed Roe v. Wade, and now it's gone. So that's good. So he won.
Certainly.
He eventually pinned Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, he eventually delivered the doomsday device to civil rights. The real NWO.
Yeah, Dylan, the National Women's Organization.
Yeah,
take that.
A lot of people go, what was your Hogan turning heel? I'll tell you when it was.
No,
that Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, I thought you were going to say when you found out Rage didn't like Roe v. Wade.
No. That's why I like him.
You couldn't comprehend it. Luka Doncic trade, finding out that Rage wasn't liberal like me. That was the two things that blew my mind.
I can't believe this man with wet hair doesn't agree with me politically. Now, our final match today here on the reviewing of wrestling, is that the title?
We're doing this opposite day. It's opposite day because we're starting in 96. This is September 23, 1996, the NWO takeover of Nitro, where Bischoff is still on the broadcast as like, and these NWO guys are mean.
This is Ted DiBiase being brought in to be the money behind the NWO. This is the period of time where they're really leaning into it. Get it? We're the WWF. But then there's also a bunch of lawsuits about to hit court, so they have to really tone that down. This is the best the NWO ever was. They should have capped it at these members, except for the Giant. The Giant is the worst inclusion of the NWO ever. He is awful. But wore terrible suits. No, they didn't. Why did they have to?
Because you need a guy who's not in WWE very clearly to sell the fact that this is not WWE invading. That's why they had to. So who else from WCW would you put in the NWO?
You would put Tony Schiavone.
Sure. They eventually did that with
Flair.
Bischoff.
Honestly, Arn Anderson, Chris
Ric Flair.
I would have picked Ric Flair.
This Flair young, cool heel group. You put Ric Flair.
It's better than the Giant. The Giant is the worst.
I love the Giant in the NWO.
No, you don't. You're lying. You're just being a contrarian cunt. Fuck you. Fuck you, Dylan. No. The soundboard is turned off, or you would have on the soundboard.
I do. Well, I control the feed, so yeah. Now you have no voice. I've muted you.
I really wanted to.
I allow you to speak again, John.
I have destroy the broadcast.
Oh, what? Sorry, can't hear you.
I was also not talking. Fuck you.
I can see you talking, actually.
No,
I would put
that was a trick.
Who would I put in? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. The Giant's there.
Terrible. Conan. Literally, you put Conan in from the end from Dungeon of Doom. That's a great one.
It doesn't have
Kevin
as much
Sullivan. The Giant's the
worst.
Luger. Luger's great.
Luger would have been good, but Luger's kind of like Hogan. Anyway, whatever. Here's the thing. The Outsiders, I think Scott Hall is very entertaining in a squash match. I can see why everyone hated these guys. This is the slowest match I saw this program, and I watched. I couldn't imagine what it was like to watch this match without the commentary. Like, the commentary tells the story, like them bickering back and forth adds tension because Hogan's on commentary. Because it's like, will this guy say it? And then he doesn't. But it's just so slow the whole time. There's High Voltage gets literally zero offense.
Oh my God.
And then they just get pinned. But I do like the subtleties of, like, these guys are clearly they're against two world champions, the Outsiders, and it's High Voltage, who just started wrestling, and Nick Patrick spends like a good 2 minutes checking their boots to see if they have foreign objects, and then just the Outsiders don't really have to tag, and they double pin High Voltage It's great.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's the best use of the outsiders. This is again when the NWO fucking ruled. Also, they hadn't gotten the color scheme correct, so the outsiders are always in the wrong color scheme, which I think is such a funny thing. Yeah, the colors are going to be red and black. Fuck, it's red and white. Well, you guys stand out, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do like because that was, and this is another subtlety what they did, where they wanted to be the wolf pack within the NWO to make the group that big, which does let you know that like they weren't gonna fucking ever disband this shit after Sting, like.
Well, they were and again, they were trying to. The idea was like Wolfpack would be a faction within WCW. They'd all get hired back, but no. Literally, I watched so much. I love WCW. You literally watch the episode after that Starrcade in '97. Like literally, like you can hear them like, well, we had a script prepared, but that doesn't work now. Okay, we'll do something else. Like it's just fucked. Also, Kevin Nash made the greatest point about that match, which was if you wanted to make it legitimate, they should have put it in a cage because then it's like there's no way for the NWO to interfere.
Yeah, that makes the most sense for sure. But yeah, I don't know. They also Hulk Hogan was still in his prime of like, I'm not going to lose actually to this guy.
Still is happening now. Hulk Hogan is still discussing how he wasn't booed at that Raw. I've never enjoyed seeing someone be more themselves ever. Like literally Hulk Hogan's wife is in TMZ being like, my daughter has not talked to me or him in 8 years. She claims we're wildly abusive. I don't like my son. He's bad. And my fucking husband won't fucking return my phone calls, even though I was a real nightmare in that divorce. And Hulk Hogan's response is like, who? No, just to let you know, they didn't boo me at that Raw. Like he cannot let it go, and I love it. He has
a good relationship with his son. They host wet T-shirt contests together.
Oh yeah, well, which Hogan and his son? Yeah, there's no worse video in the world than when his son is getting arrested for another DUI, and Hogan shows up to clearly celebrity the cops, sees body cams, and anything I can do, and they're like, no, and he's like, oh fuck. I guess I'll be one like me retired.
Yeah. You know, I called a guy the N-word, dude. I'll take it.
Hey, dude, all right. Before you arrest my son, I just want to let you guys know that I talk the way you guys think, you know what I mean?
I seen Rodney King. I thought that was pretty cool, brother.
I also like to point out that I love that Linda Hogan is like, and Brooke won't talk to either of her parents for literally no reason except for all the evidence that was filmed. Like it's like, yeah, I can see not talking to you, Linda. You dated her friend from high school for like 5 years, and every media appearance you were like, you know who's gay? My ex-husband and some guy.
Oh yeah,
pills are cool.
Yeah, you should really, if you're gonna get divorced, bring the kids into it. That's number 1, 2, and 3. John, what's your favorite high voltage match of these 4?
Disorderly Conduct, I think. Mostly because I enjoyed Disorderly Conduct's robes so much. Why are your ring jackets so thick?
I liked. All right, so I'm gonna do it like this. I think that the best match is my favorite is Buff versus Norton, just because I love that tag team. And then you got second up Disorderly Conduct. I'm going to put third Eaton and Walker, and then fourth the Outsiders. It probably in reality was that Walker and Eaton are clearly better wrestlers than Disorderly Conduct. It's just difficult to take a tag team seriously when it's like Hardwork, Bobby Walker and Bobby Eaton, 2 guys that clearly learned they were tagging that night.
I think they learned when they got to the gorilla position. Why? Oh, it's a tag match.
And I mean, WCW obviously legendarily poorly run, but I would like to know what the thought is behind signing Bobby Eaton and signing Bobby Walker rather than just bringing them in as jobbers and paying them.
I know the logic is that it was the idea of nailing down a huge amount, especially in the like 96, 97. It was also holding on to a shitload of talent so Vince couldn't get it. Like you have to remember, okay. Like as funny as the rewriting of it was Turner versus Vince, when it's not, it was like Vince McMahon was brought to his knees by a swinger from Minnesota who had no business degree. Like, understand how bad Vince McMahon is at this? That one guy just literally did 3 things, and it took Vince McMahon 2 years to, how the fuck do we beat them? How the fuck do we do it? He's got a guy in a limo at the beginning of the show. There's no way to beat that. Like, it's just like, yeah, it's insanely funny how actually easy it is to, like, Vince McMahon was nearly brought down by year 2 AEW, and all that year 2 AEW did was just like, there's some logic to this booking. There's an unbeatable. I know what we'll do. I'm going to make sure my son-in-law dies, and then I'm just going to ruin NXT. That's my strategy.
We signed a bunch of 5'10" guys, and we have fireworks now. They're unbeatable.
Yeah. Fuck fireworks. Only one person's allowed to use those on cable.
That's true, though. It is like, it's just like this company has a bit of a budget, and like, say what you will about AEW, if it was still AEW versus Vince McMahon WWE, you'd be still watching AEW because there is coherent, fully thought out storylines, and it's just Triple H was like, oh, not only are these coherent, I've given thought to what you might think about them, and now AEW is fucking reeling because Tony Khan's trying to, like, he's probably halfway through matches just blinking a lot and saying the name of Jacksonville Jaguar practice players because he has 3 jobs.
What I also really enjoy is I like that everyone's like, the heel turn of John Cena seems a bit slapdash and weird. And I'm like, yeah, it's still wrestling, guys. Like, this isn't fucking, it's not like it's fucking Nicholas Pileggi back there.
Yeah.
It's still a man named Paul who loves Conan the Barbarian. Like, it's like.
Well, this is the other thing about, I remember Aces and Eights, where they were like, everyone fucking hated Aces and Eights, and then it turned out Bully Ray was the leader of Aces and Eights, and it was like, and then they showed all of the little Easter eggs leading to the fact that he was the leader, and everyone was like, oh yeah, it did make sense, but still fuck that. Like, you know what I mean? It's also like the wrestling media is still a bunch of neckbeards with parental problems. Like,
in defense, though. The Aces, as someone who went down the ship with Aces and Eights, it would have been ruled if they'd resolved it in a month. The thing with Aces and Eights is they're like, we're going to pay this off after 4 months of unnecessary fluff.
Yeah. Brooke Hogan is going to get married to a guy who's older than her dad somehow.
Nothing worse than Tommy Dreamer explaining, yeah, it was a fake marriage, but we still had a bachelor party. And it's like,
Tommy, I still had sex with prostitutes. That's so funny.
Don't worry. Even though the match is fake, the sex with prostitutes I did behind my wife, real.
Anyway, John, tell me who's next.
Next week, we will be discussing the ECW, the second triple threat era of one Shane Terwilliger Douglas, the proto Triple H heel. The person that Triple H just full stole the gimmick he used in Ruthless Aggression era is franchise Shane Douglas. And you know that because
it was such cheating because he stole the gimmick, right?
Yeah.
He's a better wrestler, and he's more charismatic. That's bullshit.
More charismatic, more cooperative with the office.
Yes.
Shane Douglas is my favorite guy who it's like, yeah, you probably had a couple of bad beats, but it's still you, man. Like, it's still definitely you.
That's what watching High Voltage, I was like, oh, these are just like competent, like everything you tell these guys to do, they did well, and they just didn't have a je ne sais quoi to say the French thing. They just didn't have something.
They debuted at a wrong time, and unfortunately, it's not called show fun, Dylan. It's called show business.
Anyway, but they follow Christ now, which is important. John, thank you so much for talking to me.
Left-hand path.
Oh, you think so?
I hope so.
Yeah, the other one's fucking Kamala Harris now. John, think about this. Next week, we're talking about the triple threat, Shane Douglas, not the first one. The second one with Bigelow and Candido and Shane Douglas.
And Rick Rude.
And
now, unnecessary interference occasionally from Brian Lee. Maybe we'll talk about the Pitbull saga. These early ECW pay-per-views, crisp videotape. Same cameras used for, I assume, pornos of the era. Probably same cameramen. Oh, it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, that was a rumor, by the way, about the NWO theme song. Since it is just house music, they added someone saying NWO over, is that there's like a lot of porns that have the NWO theme in them.
Is that true?
This is a rumor I heard. Is that because it's just house music, so you can definitely find porn. People have just played the NWO theme song over.
That's really funny. I mean,
but without the NWO part. But
you can really find the Harlem Heat theme music littered across the internet. It's in a Kids in the Hall sketch, like
Harlem Heat song. Benoit's WCW theme was like the theme before movies at noon on Fox 29 when I was a kid, all over the place. And next week, Shane Douglas triple threat, the one with Bigelow that was fun. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please rate and review and subscribe. Go to our Patreon. It's free right now. Patreon.com/wrestler review. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.